Hello, hello. Happy Monday, everyone. My favorite day of the week. Today's a special one. I'm so super stoked. You guys are going to get the chance to listen to and hopefully learn so much from one of the best softball players in the country.
Hi guys, my name is Amanda Lorenz. I am from Southern California. I played my softball career at the University of Florida from 2016 to 2019. I was a four-time All-American, SEC Player of the Year, and then I got drafted second overall by the USSSA Pride. Now I just finished my first year as a student coach with the University of Florida, and now I'm home in California with my family, quarantining and all this fun stuff.
So, what type of things have you specifically been doing? I mean, you said you worked out today.
Yes,
So
so
you have a
my
pro season
parents,
to look forward to.
yeah, my parents got a Peloton. So I
Oh,
have been, yeah, so I've been
that's amazing.
riding the Peloton every day, really just loving it. Like, love the instructors. They really love when, there's some feel good instructors, and then there's some instructors like I need them to call me out and talk
Yeah,
down to me. Like, I'm not one of those that you got it, dig deep. And I need
me
someone to
neither.
be like, you're soft, figure it out. I don't feel bad for you. And so I've really found the few that are I feel like they're just attacking me, and I'm like, let's friggin' go. And so those are the ones that I'm just thriving on, but really having so much fun with, because I just think I just always chase that feeling from 6 a.m.s in college of you just dying, and the people around you just calling your butt out, saying let's go. You know,
Yeah,
I just think
I've
nothing
missed
gets you
that.
better like that. So I'm just I
Hmm.
miss that so much. So I just am constantly trying to chase that of people in my head, or just creating things to get me to push beyond that limit.
I, I don't work as hard if somebody's not calling me soft or calling or
Oh, 100%.
saying,
Yeah.
you can definitely lift 5 more pounds or you can definitely put
Yes.
another 10 on there. Like
Yes.
I have been thriving off of the Nike training app right now has free premium workouts and I
Oh,
don't have a Peloton.
awesome.
If I had a
Yeah.
Peloton, I'd be in your shoes.
Yes.
But the Nike training app has the premium workouts where there's actual coaches and they
Uh-huh.
know when you should be struggling, so they know what to say to be you can
Oh,
do more, and I'm just I
yes.
need this. I
Yes.
need
That's
this.
awesome. That is
That's so
awesome.
legit. Where have you been able to hit and stuff?
So great question. I thought that this whole thing, when I left Florida, I was like, oh, I'll be home for a week or two. I didn't even bring home my bat.
Oh my god.
I did not even bring home my glove. Luckily I have an old glove, so I've played catch a few times.
You haven't swung much, but so many people feel the pressure right now that put it their coaches or somebody putting down their throat. You have to put in so many swings a day or you're gonna fall behind. But in
Yeah,
reality, all the work that you've put in to get to this point, it's not like it's gonna be gone in the snap of a finger by not swinging the
totally.
bat for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're clearly yeah, you're gonna have some a little bit of work to catch up on, but it's not like it's gonna be astronomical. It's just
Yeah,
gonna
and
be feeling good again.
you just have to deal with it. 2 months ago, I thought I would have plenty of time to be back in Gainesville and in my normal regimen and getting after it. But, I'm loving working with my lessons and learning more and more every day, and kind of just getting after it and getting better in the little ways that I can. Not everyone has a tee at home and a net at home. So there's just little things that you can always do. I mean, I'm challenging myself definitely by working with others. I love, 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 love explaining to other people. And it just
Hmm.
definitely makes me more of a student of the game to be able to learn and explain at the same time. So I'm definitely getting better and staying in shape, but not ideal. But no one is in their ideal place right now of
Mm-mm.
being able to work through things. So you can't feel sorry for yourself. You just figure it out how to get better and deal with what you got.
You're probably working on your mental game more than anything, maybe, because you can't hit as much. And
Yes.
I'm one of those people that's always preaching about how important it is to have a good head on your shoulders because you can have the most beautiful swing in the world, but if you don't believe in the swing, you're not going to be able to be successful. And you're a true testament to the fact that you make things work. You up here, when I see you work in the box, I love it. I kind of wanted you to speak a little bit about the mental game and how maybe what's your routine before you get to the box? What do you say to yourself? What are some of the things that like you like it's almost like your signature that you always do when you're up to bat?
Yeah, I think that during this time, what has really helped me to be able to like hone in on my mental skills and just like keep them strong is definitely explaining my process to other people, which I've loved like through Zoom calls and like talking to teams and athletes about my mental process, which has definitely made me more confident in what I do because I already have, I know at 23, I know what works for me through my process. So explaining it during this time has helped me so much. But then back to it. So when I go in the box, I just try to trust everything that I've done. So I'm like a huge person that I need to go in there with as much confidence as possible, but you can't fake confidence. So I'm not going to fill
Right.
myself up with bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to fully believe the things that I'm telling myself. So I'm not going to just tell myself whatever I think I want to hear. So it's the same as when you're working out, when I told you before how I want them to call me out because I know I'm not doing the best that I can. I know that I can push beyond more. So I'm always just want to be honest with myself. So that's another thing in the box. I want to be able to tell myself, I don't care what this pitcher is going to throw me. 150% I can hit it and I can hit it wherever I want. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't tell myself that unless I back it up with my work ethic and what I do in the cages. So I think that I came in with super high expectations at Florida and I was getting really frustrated freshman year when I had these really good pitching coaches in the other dugout who honed in on my weakness right away and went at it 3 games in a row. And I was like, this sucks. Like I'm facing the same team over and over and they kind of have my number and I don't want to hit that pitch me something different. And I was just getting mad but not doing anything about it. And Coach Walton kind of challenged me. He was like, "Hey, look, I love your expectation. Nothing is wrong with what you expect and what you expect your average to be, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to do something to back that expectation up. If your expectation is this high, then your work ethic needs to be even higher. You have to at least match it." And so I was like, oh, you're so right. I have these cages. I have this access that I've never had in my life. Why am I not taking advantage of it even more? So I got my butt in the cages all the time. I mean, I was there early. We had early hitting, but I was there before early hitting, making sure that I could take as much time as I needed off of the tee. So I was already warm for early hitting. I didn't need to warm up. I was ready to go during that extra hitting time. So I think that him saying that to me really kind of challenged me in a great way where I was like, awesome, like I can come in and if I'm intentional about my work and I really can make something of it, then why not when I have all of these great resources that I can take advantage of. So if I'm working out this much and matching my expectations, then I can fully 100% walk into the box knowing that I'm better than the girl on the mound. And I don't care what she's going to throw me. I know that I can hit it. So really just, I always try to worry about me because I think that the second that I have a really hard time giving the pitcher a lot of credit, even though I face some amazing pitchers. Like, trust me, they're very, very talented, and I'm not taking anything away from them. But I just think for me, it really helps for me to make sure that I'm in control. So if I'm in control and only thinking about me, then that means I'm controlling my breath. I'm controlling my thought process. I'm controlling where my feet are in the box. I don't want her dictating any of that because then that throws me off. And I just want to make sure that every time I go into the box, it feels the same as it did the pitch before.
I wanted to talk about Tim Walton too because I played with Lauren Hager and she was talking about like how he's so good at, like you were saying, pinpointing your weakness, but also like getting more out of you.
I think my freshman year, this is just something I just think he does such a great job of getting to know his athletes and really like I know definitely ESPN and like on TV portrays him as like someone's like super hard and not maybe doesn't even have a heart. And he like generally like he really cares about all of us and puts us first. It doesn't matter if you don't play or play every game. I mean, I really believe that he treats everyone equally and wants the best for us as people first. And so I just know that he cares. So he like has a great relationship with all of us. So why wouldn't you listen to someone that you know cares about you and wants you to be better? You know that he's on your team. And then
Mm-hmm.
also I think like he just knew when my heartbeat started to get a little out of control, especially freshman year, because obviously freshman year hitting high in the lineup, you're in the SEC. There's a lot going on, you know, and it
Yeah.
was like a dream come true for me for sure. And I was like excited, but I wanted to succeed so bad that it kind of got the best of me. And so he would really notice when my breath wasn't normal in between pitches, he would call timeout and be like, "Hey, take a deep breath. Like, you need to calm down." I wouldn't even say anything. And I didn't feel like I was making a face or doing anything like that, but he just knew me. And it would happen multiple times my freshman year where he called timeout and noticed that I just needed a second. And he didn't come over and tell me a game plan or to move in the box. He really just did it so I could have a few extra seconds to breathe and get back to my normal heart rate. And so I think that was huge, 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 huge my freshman year. And then I think like another game changer, I just tweeted about this the other day, but he had like a virtual conference and talked about hitting strikes and knowing your strengths, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember my freshman year, I was just obviously getting super frustrated. I didn't have like a flush routine of how to get over things. And obviously it's way harder to hit in college than it is in travel ball and high school. So I was getting frustrated, and then finally he was like, "Was it a strike?" And if it wasn't a strike, then I wasn't allowed to be frustrated, because you can't dissect your swing and dissect what you did wrong if you're not swinging at a strike, because immediately your swing is going to be flawed. It's not going to be your A swing or something that you intended to do if it's on a strike. So that kind of flipped my switch a lot, because I had this mentality where I still do, that I can hit anything, but I can't judge myself off of hitting a ball. Like I was weak mentally and swung at a ball. Therefore, I got beat. Whatever. I can't get mad about it and try to fix my swing when obviously my swing is going to be flawed because I swung at a ball. So I think that was a huge game changer for me once I started to embrace that. It helped a lot with my flushing and not getting as frustrated, because there's no reason. Why am I going to be this frustrated when I couldn't have done anything? I was doomed because I swung at a ball.
Yeah, I think the best coaches just know how and when to say certain things. And I'm
Totally.
sure that the things he was telling you freshman year were astronomical, completely different than the things he was telling you by senior year. Because clearly you're a different human being your
Yeah.
freshman year. This is your senior
Yeah.
year.
Hmm.
And so you hit, I think it was like 422 or something like crazy your senior year. And I had actually a similar experience. I hit about 400 my senior year as well. And I kind of think about it as like the 400 mentality. Like, you're in a different place. When you feel like anything close to the plate, you're going to absolutely crush. I didn't feel that until the end of my college career and then my pro career. Like,
Hmm.
that was not something that I could do my freshman year, because I had these flaws, I had these weaknesses, and other teams were figuring those out.
Yeah.
So I think it's so cool that like your coach is so good at like telling you what you need to hear, right away, and like working on probably just like one thing at a time
Yeah.
instead of trying to like focus on everything under the sun. It's like, no, just focus on this one thing. And
Yeah.
for you, like, your experience was, you just need to slow down.
Yes.
Like,
Totally.
that's it. So
Totally.
I think that's so cool.
I think another thing was that, I think from a young age, I was very aware of my weaknesses and what I wanted to get better on. And it always was kind of harped on, okay, we're going to work on this today, because I didn't do well on that this weekend, which is great. But once I got to college, it was like, why are you worried about your C plus swing so much? Like, I don't understand. Coach Walton like phrased it in a way like, why are we worried so much about this swing that you don't really like? Like, why can't we focus on your strengths more? Because if we don't execute your strengths and keep your strengths as your A plus swing and worry too much about your weaknesses, he didn't want our strength, our A plus swing, to start to differ because we're worried so much about this. So I'm really good at spraying the ball and going the other way. Not so good at down and in or inside. I've gotten a lot better. So I'm fine now, but freshman year, it was not something that I could execute or even knew how to execute what I wanted my swing to look like. And he was like, if you change, because obviously two totally different swings, up and out and low and in. Okay, if you totally change yourself to make that weakness better, what's that going to do to that up and out pitch? Like, you're probably going to lose it if you're so concerned with this new weakness. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think he phrased it in a way like, especially when we get to college, your swing's pretty much set. Like, like what you're supposed to do, and how your body feels, and it's just about fine tuning those little things and how we get better with what we got. I
Yeah.
you know, like I love that he like works with everyone differently in what they have. What works for me doesn't work for my teammate over there, and things like that. Obviously we all learn from each other, but everyone's different and everyone's body works differently. So it was really about how do I keep my A plus swing, and maybe just keep building a little bit each week, each year even, on that weakness, and just make it a little better, and maybe it gets closer, but I never want this strength to dip. So I just want to keep this here while little by little learning how to leverage that pitch better, and just continuously getting better at it. But definitely always being aware of my strength and always attacking that in the box.
Jenna asked, would you say the size of your body matters in softball?
No, I think that everyone should be healthy and work as hard as possible. But I mean, I'm definitely not the thinnest girl. I'm a little thick, so but guess what? I can still run the bases and
Heck
and
yeah.
and do some things. So I think that it's just about being healthy, treating your body right, and then just being aware of your body. What works for me doesn't work for my teammate, and that's because of our bodies. Our bodies work differently. It was
Mm-hmm.
like the coolest thing for me while hitting early, one day my sophomore year. For those that you don't know, we had a girl named Kaylee Kavistad on our team who is super powerful, lots of power, very good. She hit over 400, I think, two or three times in her career. Very, very consistent and good, but in a lefty, power hitting lefty. So you would think that we were a little similar, right? Because both lefties and both can hit for some power. She definitely hit for way more power than I did. Um, but it was so interesting to me to when we were hitting off of the tee together to see the way that she hit the inside pitch and the outside pitch to compare to how I hit the inside pitch and she hit the outside pitch. Like just the way that our bodies work totally differently. We could stand in the exact same part of the box, but where she hits the inside pitch is way deeper than when I hit the inside pitch because she's way better at hitting in the inside pitch, so can wait longer. And I think that's when things kind of clicked for me how cool hitting is.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is this that we're both standing in the exact same part of the box, hitting the ball at totally different places in the same location, because that's the way our body works and that's the way we need to hit it in order to be successful. So that was really cool for me to I just noticed it the way that she moved it. And I don't know why it didn't click with other people. I think maybe because we were a little similar of where we stood in the box, et cetera, et cetera. And it was really cool to see like how she's so successful at doing something completely different than I am, and we both are coexisting and doing great and feeling great, but doing different things, which was really, really awesome.
Everybody is different.
Yeah.
Everybody, plays the game differently. Everybody thinks differently. And it's amazing that you were so successful because you knew your strengths. You knew yourself better than anybody else. Even though you'd probably argue that Tim Walton probably knew you better than you did sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like you become successful when you know your body, when you
Yes.
know yourself, when you know your strengths, and like the world is your oyster when you do know these things. And I think a lot of players, they try to deny their weaknesses. They try to say, oh, well, if this is a weakness, I'm going to put it on the side burner and see if I can still be successful. But you and I know when you play at a high level, as soon as your weakness is out there, you're
It's
just going to
out
get that.
there. Yeah.
Yep. Like
Yep.
people know you. Like
Yeah.
I remember my freshman year at Purdue, the low and outside pitch. Oh my God, I wanted to vomit every time I saw it. And I'm a lefty as well. And so like when people like would throw it to me and I'd accidentally swing, I would look like an idiot. I'd stick my butt out and I would
Yes.
just like throw my hands, and it was awful. And as soon as teams knew that about me, that's all that I saw.
Yeah,
And
especially with
so
how advanced our game is of everything's streamed.
yeah,
So every team in the
everything.
country has every swing that you've swung your whole career. So you just
Yeah.
can't get away with things like how they used to. I'm
Yeah.
gonna
I
pull
don't
that card. Like they used to get
yeah.
away with a lot more things than we get away with, because now every single one of our swings, any smart pitching coach can go on there and replay every single one of your whole career and try to do something that they know you haven't been successful at in the past.
I talked to Aubrey Monroe before this, and I know she only played one season with you.
Yes.
I think she was a senior and you were a freshman.
Yes.
And she was and I was basically asking, okay, so one of the things I admire most about Amanda Lorenz is her leadership and how she's able to, always put the team before her. But when the team needs to hear something, she's like on it because you have one of the most incredible voices I've ever seen. And this is a story that I wanted to share about you that I admire the most. and it's your final at bat. You fought so hard. Like, you were an absolute warrior in that box. And I believe was it a line drive? A line
Mm-hmm.
out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like you crushed an absolute ball straight to a defender and you got out and you were in the dugout, and it was kind of at the moment where this is it.
Yeah.
All your teammates are like rushing over to you, and like you're emotional, you're like soaking it in, right? But your teammates are all trying to console you, and like you immediately were like, turn around, like this game is still happening. There is a girl up to bat and she needs you. Like, she needs you. Like, yeah, of course it sometimes it feels good when people care, but like you knew that they cared, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're an incredible leader. You knew they were going to come over, but you were like, turn around, there's still a game going on. And I think that was the most beautiful example of leadership that, like, it's still it gives me goosebumps thinking about it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, we knew you were about to go play like pro softball after that game, but there's nothing like the last game in your college uniform. Like, nothing.
Yeah. Nothing.
And so the fact that, like, even though probably all that you wanted were hugs in that moment, you knew that for the team to end on a high note and to, get like empty the tank, finish the game, you were not the important one there. It was the team. The team was everything. And so I talked to Aubrey Monroe about that, and she's just like, dude, she is like the most selfless human being. I have never seen someone that cares so much about your success. She cares about your success more than her own sometimes. And you're a pure example. You are an absolute pure example of the teammate that I wish I could play with. Like, because if I succeed, I know Amanda Lorenz is going to jump on my dang back and like support the crap out of me. But I wanted people to hear that story because it's just, you're an absolute inspiration, not just because you're good at softball. What was it like transitioning, like, from the college game, which you absolutely loved, and you were an incredible leader, and then going and being a rookie in pro ball? Like, it's probably a little different, but maybe similar in some ways. Like, can you share that?
Obviously, after that moment, I just felt like so incredibly thankful, because it was just really the best 4 years I could have ever imagined or like drew up for myself, because it was like, I came to Florida because I wanted to win a national championship, and that was it. Like, I wanted to go to a great school, but I wanted to win. Like that was my plan. I did not plan to make these friendships and be challenged in ways that I never imagined that I would be challenged. And there were some tough times, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there was times where teammates thought I was being selfish, but I really just always, there were some tough talks in the locker room of me saying things, but it was all out of love at all times, because no one wanted my teammates to succeed more than me. Like, 100%, no one wanted them to succeed and do well, like, more than me. And I might have been calling them out the day before, but I was the first one to give them a high five, and so pumped for them when they did something well and had a breakthrough moment the next day, or out workouts or something like that. But I truly loved them and still love them, obviously, with all of my heart, and just wanted everyone to be better at all times, and loved the program and loved the people. And it was just like, I just couldn't have pictured a more perfect, except for winning a national championship, a more perfect college experience. I came in, and my purpose for playing softball was winning and getting better every day and just having fun. And I didn't imagine that little sunflower would like turn my life upside down of my purpose for playing softball, and really just change my whole perspective on life and everything. And there was just things that I've learned in the relationships that I've made at Florida that I could never repay the game of softball or the University of Florida ever for the things that they have given me. So then after, I just felt so prepared for anything that would come my way because of the things that I went through in college. I mean, seriously, I just felt like the most blessed girl in the world. I was going to play for the Pride with so many people that I idolized growing up, and I was so excited to learn from them. And obviously, going as like senior top dog to a rookie, I was like, whatever, I'm up for it. I need to put in my time, just like I put in my time at Florida. And it was, but I came in with the most amazing people. They never treated the rookies like rookies one time. Everyone treated each other with respect and like professionals. And I learned so much. And I like off the field, on the field, from all of them. I was just blown away by how welcoming all of them were, and became friends immediately. And a few of them I was close friends with prior to joining the Pride, but they're just great people, like just professionals on and off the field that had my back right away. And I just learned so much. It was just so much fun to, and also, you get to the pro level, and no longer are people just playing because they're in school and playing, playing because they have a scholarship or things like that. And while people love it in college, there's definitely some people that, are excited to be done playing softball. And I've never been someone like that. I'm like a huge softball nerd who has loved going to practice every single day. I may not have loved to go to workouts every day, but I love to show up to practice every single day. And I had a great time. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed the grind of softball, the grind of hitting, defense, cuts, and relays. Like, fire me up. I love that stuff. So going to the pro level where you don't have to play softball anymore, it's only, especially, we're not getting paid millions, like, it's only the people that really love it and love getting better. So to be surrounded by so many people who love the game and who are on the like relentless pursuit of getting better and relentless pursuit of greatness on and off the field was just infectious. Like, it was so much fun to be around and just learn from all of those people, and the laughs and just the maturity. It was just a great experience. And I would have been totally fine with having that typical rookie experience, like grab the bucket, things like that. I never experienced that one time. Like, they were truly just amazing. And I'm so thankful to be obviously a first class organization in USSSA, but I'm just so thankful to be a part of it and help them grow the game and be a part of the Pride. And it's just really been a treat. And I'm just so thankful to have the opportunity to play softball and get paid to play softball and impact other people's lives. Like, that's truly just incredible. And I'm just so thankful that people that follow me on social media or can watch our games or see us in person know that they can be a professional too. And I think that's so cool, because when I was growing up, I didn't know that there was a pro league. I just knew about the USA team. So my dream was to play for Team USA, and it's so cool because so very few athletes get that opportunity, which is amazing. And I would never tell anyone to differ their dreams, but you can dream for playing Team USA and playing professional softball. So I just think it's really cool. But my transition overall, great people. And I'm just thankful.
I can definitely attest to the fact that you have to love it if you want to go play this. I don't know if they still do this, but we had to stay after games for like 45 minutes to sign autographs.
Yeah.
And it was just like an always thing. Like, if there were people waiting, you were going to go sign their autograph.
Yep.
And I was like, that was one of the moments that I think stuck with me the most from playing professionally, is the fact that whether you played great or whether you sucked, like, you're a pro athlete and people are waiting for your autograph. And it's like, and I'm sure you experienced that at Florida too, but just like you said, you have to absolutely love it. And even in college, like, the amount that you had to juggle as a college athlete is unbelievable, where most people can't make it through that. Like, I'm sure there were players in your organization that just, like, they saw the life and they were like, that's more than I could even handle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you have to love the game more than life if you're ever going to want to play at that level. When things get tough, I'm pretty sure this sunflower is something that you think about to help get you through some adversity.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, and just like I didn't know when I was a recruit of what the sunflowers meant, I just thought they were really cute and Florida won in their hair because they were trendsetters and it looks cute, and so that's why they wear them. But so I came in freshman year and I was so lucky to have someone like Aubrey who immediately was so awesome and taught all the freshmen the ropes, and there's no ego with Aubrey. She's just such a giver and a servant leader, and I just can't say enough about the impact that she had on my life as a freshman and continues to. I mean, we're really close, but I came in and I knew vaguely about the sunflower and what it meant to Florida, but I didn't fully embrace it and really know until I stepped on campus. But she immediately made it clear, like, we wear the sunflowers for a whole bigger purpose than ourselves. For you, we're not playing for each other. We play for each other, but we're really playing for the kids that can't. So in 2012 or 13, Florida adopted a girl named Heather Braswell through the Friends of Jacqueline Foundation, and the Friends of Jacqueline Foundation pairs up kids battling diseases, cancers, things like that with sports teams. So it doesn't matter, high school teams, college teams, whatever team, just to give them that environment of a team and that friendship. And they might not be able to go to school anymore or have that normalcy. And so just to give them a little bit of normal and friendship. And because there's nothing like a teammate and how they have your back. And so it's really just to let them know, like, hey, look, we're here, we have your back. And so they adopted Heather, who's an amazing, tough little girl who I never got the chance to know, but I feel like I knew her because of the impact that she continues to have on our program and so many of my friends that were deeply affected by Heather. And so just a warrior. And unfortunately, she lost her battle with brain cancer in 2014 during the season that they won their first national championship. So if that doesn't give you chills, like, I don't know what will.
They're on me right now.
So it's just and so I came in with knowing about Heather and the meaning and everything about what she meant, and we continued to wear the sunflowers and have a close relationship with Friends of Jacqueline. And my senior year, I was just, you get there and there's that there's something bigger than just you and bigger than you and your senior year and the program, etc. And just felt like it was time. Like, I really wanted to ask Coach Walton if he felt like he was up for adopting another adoptee from Friends of Jacqueline. And I mentioned it earlier in my career, and I didn't think that he was ready yet. But this time he said, do it, absolutely. So I filled out a form and heard back from them pretty soon that they had an adoptee in our area named Hartley Georges. She really wanted to be adopted to the gymnastics team, but the gymnastics team already had an adoptee. So we were second best. So now it was my time to really prove to her that softball was cool. And so so soon after, it was like our last practice before Thanksgiving break, and we had her and her family out to the field and adopted her in this adoption ceremony. And immediately I just tried to become best friends with her. I wanted to be her friend so bad, and clicked. Her little brother, just full of life and super outgoing, and Hartley was a little reserved at first, but soon came out of her shell. And it just completely has changed my world, building a relationship with her. And her little brother is Carter, and they call me their big sister, and extremely close with them, talk all the time. And especially during that year where she was battling some things, and we met, and it was like 2 weeks later she had her first round of chemo, and I was there with her in the hospital. And I don't even have words for how that moment affected me. I mean, I have this little girl in front of me receiving her first treatment of chemo, and I felt so lightheaded. I was like, this girl is going through, it was just like so many emotions that I was like, I can't believe that this little 9-year-old girl is having chemo right in front of me with a smile on her face. And it was just completely turned my world upside down of purpose, and the way that her parents handled it, the way that her brother handled it. And it was just with grace and faith, and it was just beautiful of her strength. And I just felt so honored and lucky to be able to witness this this amazing example of strength and faith. It was truly just incredible. And it really just flipped my world upside down, how she just always thought of others and remembered every single person's name. And it was just so kind and just beautiful. And it was just such a privilege to have that impact in her life, and our team gets to share with that and use that and build her up while she builds us up like no other. And the first home game when so we announced her at every home game that she was at, she would go last, and they would say an honorary Gator, Hartley Georges, and she just loved it. Like, she would Gator chomp just like us and go through the line, and to hear our fans erupt, and obviously they fully embrace the sunflower and the meaning that it has. So it was just so special. And I'm going to have that relationship for the rest of my life. They're going to be in my life, and just completely not only changed my reason for playing softball, but really just changed my whole purpose and view on life. It's been the most incredible experience and relationship I've ever, and that's why I'm just so thankful, and I'm out there on social media about it, because it's just such an easy thing to sign up and get those adoptees on your team, and it gets a little heavy sometimes. It's not all rainbows. There's some really tough days, and I definitely had those when they got some not so good news, and I got prayer requests, and it would hit me hard because I cared a lot about her and her family, and it was not easy some of those days, but obviously we're really fortunate, and she's doing great, and her hair is growing, and she's gaining weight, and she's so strong and beautiful. So we're definitely so blessed and thankful, but it's hard, but it's just so worth it to have that relationship, and it just completely changes your dynamic of the team. It was incredible, really, really just incredible.
That was so beautifully said. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you.
Like,
Thanks.
yeah, and like clearly you've talked about it so much that like there's just like you just know every emotion that she gives you. Do you feel like she was able to impact your performance like in a positive way? Like if you ever felt like down or upset, like you're just like, wait, Hartley would not like this version of me right now. Like
Yeah, I
snap
think
out
that
of it.
I think it was she helped a lot with my recovery of like
Yeah.
of flushing things. It was like she greeted me with the same smile and high five, whether I had just hit a home run or I just struck out. It was like the first time where she was in the dugout and I struck out and came in, and she was like gave me a big high five, and it just like flipped. Like I just laughed. I was like, Hartley, I just struck out. Like, and I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
that to a 9-year-old girl. Like, and I just like took the high five, and I was like, like I'm living the best life. Like, really, I just, okay, who cares? And I immediately got over it. But it was like nothing better than when I would hit a home run or a big hit, and the team would meet me at home plate, but Hartley was right there with a huge double high five. And it was just so cool. But she greeted me the same exact way, whether I just had made a big hit or struck out in a big moment. She didn't care. She just cared about being there and filling everyone with smiles and happy vibes and unicorn vibes, like she would say. So
Oh,
it was just awesome, but definitely helped my failure recovery process of being able to flush things quickly, because she doesn't view us any differently, and just like God doesn't view us any differently. If I strike out or if I hit a home run, God still loves me the same. So
yeah.
things like that. She just really just spoke to everyone and just showed us how God loves us. She's just, I can't say enough.
I
Yeah.
think that's so crucial. And that was probably, she probably impacted you more than you even realized too.
Oh,
Like at the time. And like
yeah.
vice versa. Like you are one of the examples of her happiest moments. And like, and you'll never forget the moments with her. And you probably
No.
still like talk to her all the time.
Oh, all the time.
So,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
which I think is
Yeah.
so beautiful. Wow. Oh my
Really
gosh. Well,
awesome.
we have to end this conversation on that beautiful note. I that was so amazing. There's just it's so amazing when you know a clear why. When you have a clear why, it makes everything else easier.
Yeah. And it happens, like everyone has their why and their reason, and definitely not saying like that needs to be everyone's goal or everyone's purpose when they get to college, but I just think it
Yeah.
just truly to get the pressure off of yourself and worry about impacting someone else and bettering their life is just completely changes your perspective on so many things, not just your sport but your life. And so I just encourage everyone to dive deep and figure out their purpose, and I think that comes a lot in college and as you get older. But once you figure out your passion for something other than your sport, it helps with everything, not just your day-to-day life, but your transition out of your sport and things like that, because there's just so many things that are bigger than what we realize.
Yeah. And I know you're still playing, but I will tell you that those 45-minute signing autographs after games, that helped me realize my why at the end of the day. And like so me parting from the game was a little bit easier when I knew that I could still impact athletes that wanted to be in those shoes I was in, wanted to be in the
Totally.
shoes you're currently in.
Totally.
It's an amazing thing being able to notice those things and not really understand. Like they kind of hit you in the face really hard. Like you're just like, wow, I didn't realize how much I care about this certain thing until this thing comes up. So
Yeah.
it's a really powerful thing to have that why. Where do you go to learn more? Do you go to old film? Do you film yourself a lot? Like if do you read books? Like where do you go to learn more about the game?
I was very fortunate to stay involved with Florida this year and be
Yeah.
a part of the program. So I think that I learned so much just being on the other side and getting to hear a lot of those coaches' conversations of things that they think about and things that they talk about, I just learned so much more than I ever thought I would in what was a shortened year. But like just watching and not being so consumed in, you know, everything's a lot in college, and you just figure a lot of it is focusing on yourself to show up to practice and worry about your effort and etc. But to examine my former teammates and just like take it all in and just watch their process, things like that, I learned so much, and I was just so fortunate to stay involved in the game. But in those breaks, I'm not a huge reader. I actually don't really read.
I'm not either.
But I've loved,
everything.
yeah, but I've loved reading like Power of Positive Leadership by John Gordon. I was searching for other forms of leadership and how can I best serve my team. And it just really helped me a lot in terms of being more positive, and not only helped me be a better leader, but helped me my mental capacity too, and just staying sane. But Mind Gym is a really good one. Heads Up Baseball. I just really enjoy things that can fill up my cup, and I just feel like those things, when I can relate it to softball, which is obviously not work for me, and I'm super passionate about it, it's really easy for me to read those things and fill up my cup. So I think that those things have definitely made me better when I'm not at the field. But I was obviously really fortunate, like you, to be around a great program this year and continue to learn.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thanks for having me. This was awesome.
It's so amazing, especially when we talked about your why, because like if you don't have a why, like what's your purpose? Like what's the point of even, you know, practicing during quarantine? Like when you have a clear why, like it's easy to practice, right? So I think it's so amazing. I know so many people learned so much from you.